All right, blessings, family, friends, and everyone in between. All right, so we have another one here. This one is the title of this one is Shocking Allegations from Inside a Luxury Aged Care Facility in Perth. Perth is in Australia. Okay. So let's see what's happening in this luxury. If it's luxury, they should have everything they need and beyond. Okay? A luxury nursing home.
Regis Nedlands is in one of Perth's most exclusive suburbs, charging up to $1.4 million per person for accommodation and first-class care.
It was a new facility. It looked very beautiful. The people seemed very caring. And I just thought that it would be a really great place and he would be looked after properly.
Seems so, right?
Brian Hunter moved into Regis Nedlands 18 months ago. He was in a wheelchair, both his legs lost to diabetes.
Today, we could swelter through our hottest day in Perth in 10 months. The temperature is forecast to reach 40 degrees.
2 days before Christmas last year, his daughter Lee Hammond received a phone call.
The Weather Bureau says a trough...
I think it was about 3:30 in the afternoon, informing me that my father had been taken to hospital due to sunburn. They told me they couldn't find him, they didn't know where he was, which really shocked me because I knew how hot it had been, and I said, "What do you mean he'd been sunburnt?"
Lee went to the hospital where she discovered her father had been left outside on the nursing home roof terrace for 2 hours on a scorching 40-degree day.
He was slumped over in the bed and his back was exposed. I could see his back was really terribly burnt, and he was not speaking to us. He was semi in and out of consciousness.
Yes,
he went into like a hypodelirium, which means he was very, very sleepy all the time and couldn't stay awake long enough, and he couldn't swallow. He was on fluids all the time for his dehydration, and the doctor told me that his kidneys had gotten quite bad.
Lee Hammond says police told her that the CCTV footage showed a Regis staff member entering the access code to allow Brian Hunter onto the terrace. None of the staff noticed he was missing. The 86-year-old was only rescued after a visitor spotted him unconscious in his wheelchair.
It's disgusting that anyone would open a door on a 40-degree day and let a man outside with no water. I mean, if that carer had put him outside, shouldn't she have reported that he'd gone outside? Why didn't they know where he was for 2 hours?
That's a nice one of guy.
He's so happy there, isn't he?
Yeah. Wow.
After 4 weeks, Brian Hunter passed away.
At the end of his life, he wasn't speaking at all. They had to feed tube him because he couldn't swallow, and he barely recognised us.
That was when we were first married. Well, I was 18 and Dad was 19.
He was just a great father, a wonderful grandfather, fantastic husband. It's just so distressing to see him being treated in that manner. I think he's just totally neglected. It's awful.
Yeah. And so I can see how this could happen. I know it's terrible. You know, you get into so many different situations, and then you forgot that you brought this man on the rooftop, and and that he needs to be checked on. You totally forgot. I can see how it can happen. It should not happen though. No, it should not happen. Then especially if they're outside on the roof. Okay. First of all, you got to make sure that you're watching these people.
The hospital reported Regis to the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission, but the Office of the Federal Regulator was on holidays and didn't visit for 2.5 weeks.
I don't understand why that Regis would be saying that? Why would they say that when they know that?
In its report to the Commission, Regis said it was Brian Hunter who entered the access code for the terrace, not a staff member.
They're saying that Dad was at the keypad and he entered the code, and after he entered the code, that the member helped him open the door. I mean, that's not right, because once you put the key code in, the doors open automatically. You don't need any help to open an automatic door.
Definitely. That's right.
I've visited Dad many times at Regis, and he really found it quite difficult to remember the key code number. Every time I went there, I would have to put the code in for him.
While Brian Hunter was dying in hospital, 6 trainee nurses from Edith Cowan University were on work experience at Regis. They say they witnessed abuse and neglect of other residents and wrote a report to Regis, who sent it to police to investigate. The student nurses also say they saw inappropriate sexual conduct by a carer, and in one section of the report seen by the ABC, rough handling by staff, including carers harshly pulling on residents' arms, causing pain, yet the carers would continue, and residents being pulled up by the pants to get them to stand or when moving. When one trainee nurse said these practices were wrong, the carer allegedly told her, "You are taught one way and then you come into the real world and this is real world practice." Following the report, Regis stood down the carers identified and are investigating the allegations.
Most of all the stuff that I learned, getting that certificate, the CNA certificate, is not practiced in a nursing home. I did my first orientation in this previous job, and it was my first time ever having someone spot me or orientate someone. So that'll tell you right there that I pop in there on the scene as being a CNA, but I'm not in it for, life. So, so that will help you really realize that I have not, because it was my first time training someone. So this girl, she was overwhelmed. She was so overwhelmed, and she was like, "Wow, we do it like this, and we were taught to do it like that." But I'm like, "Girl, this is the advice that I gave her. Once you are by yourself, you can practice everything that you learned in school, okay? And you can do it those ways. And you will see how you need to adjust it, if you do need to adjust it, or because that is the best way. It's nothing wrong with that. But just know that you still have a schedule to keep. You know what I'm saying? You got to get these people depending on what shift you work. I think she was working third. I think she was working third shift. And so, you have a schedule to do. And so just keep that in mind. Working third shift, you're able to prepare, prepare your schedule and how you want to do stuff, and, get your towels and your basin and stuff like that, together, and do everything that you were taught to do, So I'm just letting that you can do that. That's awesome. But I'm just letting you know that's not how it's done. It is not how it's done. That's not how your co-workers are going to be doing things. They're probably going to talk about you, make fun of you, and all this type of stuff, and say you slow. And once you start implementing all these things, what I'm saying, that you have learned, it's good stuff. But I'm just letting you know, okay, that they are not doing stuff in this facility like that. It would be nice, but they are not. So that statement is true. That statement has been repeated for years and years and years, especially to newcomers, new nurses too, new everyone, okay? And so there's by the book and there's, by the facility, okay? So you have by the book the way of doing CNA, okay, the CNA task, and then you have by the facility, okay. The facility is going to have by the book posted everywhere. They're going to have by the book, you know, they have to be by the book, but what they are allowing and how they are operating is not by the book. No, it's not. It's not. So let's move forward.
Regis called the family of 90-year-old Vera Ward to tell them she was one of those allegedly abused. Her daughter, Katrina Selma Johansson, said she'd complained to Regis many times about her mother's mistreatment and neglect.
At one stage, Mum was calling 7 times a day, leaving messages. She would be screaming, crying.
Yeah.
She would be lying in bed in her faeces for hours. They would sometimes miss her meals.
Katrina didn't see her mother for months because of illness and the COVID lockdown.
Hi, Mum. Oh. Hi.
Oh, Sheila. Are you here?
It's me, yeah.
When she visited last August, she says her mother had lost a lot of weight because she had no teeth for 8 months, as Regis had failed to get her new dentures.
I couldn't believe that was my mother and how much she had changed in 8 months. She was extremely weak. She'd say repeatedly, "You don't know what it's like in here, they treat me so badly."
But worse still, Katrina discovered her mother had a pressure wound so deep it went through to her spine and required hospitalisation. The photo's too graphic to show the true extent of the injury.
Nothing could prepare me for what I saw. Nothing. There was a hole about 2 inches in circumference right through to the spine. It was full of pus and just stinking.
It's absolutely dreadful.
Following the abuse allegations, Vera Ward is in hospital again with malnutrition and looking for a new nursing home.
Did they ever treat you badly?
It's all depend on who it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people are really bad and some of them are so kind and nice.
Yeah.
Total disbelief that this could happen in a country like ours. I'm frightened for all the other elderly people out there. I think how many other people are being treated like this.
Dick Lee moved into Regis Nedlands in March last year.
Every Friday they have happy hour between 2 and 3. We had wine, soft drinks and nibbles, and we had a great time.
Lisa Chan thought all was well until last month when Regis called saying her father had been identified as another resident allegedly abused.
He was being dragged from the bedroom door to the ensuite bathroom. That was really inhuman. It's just like dragging an animal.
Yeah, we don't do that. One thing I must say, I have not seen an Asian person in a nursing home. I haven't seen an Asian person in a nursing home. I have not taken care of an Asian male or female. I haven't. So this is surprising, you know. But I think that group of people, okay, that they stand on business in that area, okay, and for the most part, if they can help it for sure. Because I don't ever see them. So let's move forward.
According to the student nurse's report, the 94-year-old was naked and sitting in faeces at the time. Another carer then arrived and the pair placed their foot down onto Mr. Lee's bare toes and grabbed him by the arms and yanked him up.
And my heart
That
broke
do.
when I heard that.
Days after the alleged abuse, Dick Lee became very ill,
Yeah.
unable to get out of bed and not eating. But despite the abuse allegation, doctors at Regis didn't transfer him to hospital for 5 days.
I have never seen him looking so bad and so painful on his face, but he couldn't express himself. He couldn't tell me what actually happened.
That's what a lot of I see people do. They just shut down. They've been treated so bad, I believe, that they just shut down. Because there's a lot of residents that are just eyes are always closed and they're tight. You know, I know that could be a medical condition, but you know, are they always sad? They just give up. If you were repeatedly not listened to, handled roughly, manhandled, okay, and you know, just treated bad, and is old people can get depressed. Yes, they can. And that depression will allow that whatever sickness that they have to really take over. Then they become nonverbal. You know how you have kids who have seen something traumatic or have been mishandled? You know what I'm saying? Then a lot of them shut down. A lot of them just stop talking, period. You know, that's the same thing for the senior adults. They shut down. They go into depression when staff is treating them bogus. I mean, you don't have no more hope. We are like, we have to think as medical professionals. Come on now. You are these people's almost last hope, okay? Physically here on this earth. You are their last hope. Family has brought them to you. So you're their last hope. Why can't we get that? I don't want to get that lesson when I'm old and my children are not able to take care of me and they stick me in a nursing home. Okay? And I'm treated bad. And then when I try to stick up for myself, then I'm treated even worse. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to get that. Then I finally understand, oh, I should never been treating those people like that. Man, now I see how it is. I should have answered that call light. Should have answered those call lights. Because now I've been waiting for hours now. You don't want to, look, CNAs, medical professionals, y'all got to get old one day. Y'all have to get old one day. There's a lot of nurses who are now in the nursing home, you know, and they are helpless. Helpless. Most of them are helpless. Most of the ones that, you know, people would say, oh, then you know she was a nurse, you know, and most of them are helpless. That's crazy. Start treating these people right. Start treating these people right.
When he arrived at hospital, the doctors told the family he had liver failure, was in a coma, and had just 24 hours to live. Dick Lee died the next day, a week after he was allegedly dragged along the floor.
He died 12 hours after And that was very, very devastated. We didn't even prepare for it. I'm very thankful to the students of reporting what they saw, what they witnessed.
Regis declined an interview, but said it's investigating the incidents raised by the students and that there is no evidence beyond the allegation document that a resident was dragged or had their toes stood on. But when the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission did an audit last month, it found 30 allegations of rough handling and unwanted sexual contact in January alone. They observed for themselves residents soaked in urine, a naked resident covered in faeces wandering around, and elderly with chronic and necrotic wounds. A year earlier, the federal regulator had given Regis Nedlands a 100% score for passing all safety and quality standards. The coroner is investigating the deaths of both Dick Lee and Brian Hunter. But police have already told the families they won't be laying charges because there's no evidence of criminality.
If this had happened in a childcare facility or, definitely charges would be laid.
Yes.
But there's no charges laid against anyone. No one's accountable for what's happened here. It's just not fair.
It's not fair. It's not right. It's bogus. It's a bogus system.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. Thank you. It's very sad. It's very sad.
You know what? That's true. If this same thing would have happened to a child, then, they would have been all over it. Okay? FBI would have been all over it. Okay? If this was happening in a group home for children. Okay. I don't think that we really honor elderly people like that. We just feel like, oh, they're almost gone anyway. They're sick anyway. Could have been underlying complications anyway. And so there's no evidence, there's no camera to prove. We can't really stick it to them, That's crazy. If I ever had to put my mother or any family member or my husband, okay, into a nursing home, I'm going to make sure that I'm involved. For sure. I'm not going to be that family member, I don't think, that tries to do the whole job themselves, while they're there visiting. But I'm going to make sure that everything is the way that it's supposed to be. Just your appearance will save your family members' lives. Because that's one thing that they do honor. They do honor family members being involved. And what I mean by honor, that is keeping your loved one from getting abused. You being there. Okay? That puts fear in a lot of the staff. Not scary fear, but some type of respect, okay, towards your loved one. They're going to be treated with kid gloves if they know that you can pop up anytime and you come every day. Yes, he or she will be treated with kid gloves. Especially if you're with it, you know what I'm saying? And you are, you're standing on business. Yeah, they will be treating your family member with kid gloves for sure. Okay. And so keep that in mind. Just don't drop your people off and wash your hands of it, and then come back once you miss them, or once you have felt guilty about staying away for so long, then you come back and want to blow everything up. No, because a lot of that stuff shouldn't have been happening. A lot of these cases, okay, or these stories of people being abused and family members coming forth, a lot of them, could have been avoided if if you were there for your loved one. You have to be there. Okay? Even like now today. I think this is years ago, many years ago. Even just calling to do business over the phone, okay? You almost have to do it yourself through them, though, but you almost have to do it yourself. You have to follow up. You have to, make sure that you confirm what needs to be done and what needs to be said and stuff like that. You have a lot of people who are in the professional or supposed to be professional nowadays are so lacking in it. Okay? People are not professional anymore nowadays. Okay? They're not. People are not professional no more. They're not. I don't care what type of title they got. You could be a president. You could be a garbage guy. Okay? Leaving trash everywhere. You saw that once that, because now they have the automatic. Now you see that paper flew out of there. You gonna leave the paper on the road? Really? Come on now. Be professional. You already don't have to pick up the can yourself. But anyway. So yeah. Okay, so how much more are we really gonna trust a medical team that's not even a team? Because we have agency now where you are getting people from all over the place and is not consistent. Okay? Your family member can't even learn names because everyone is being shifted around and coming in and out and all of these type of things. That's why the lady in the last clip, she asked her mom, how were you treated? And she said some treated me very bad. Some were very cruel and mean, but then it was others that was very nice and kind. Okay. And so she couldn't tell my name. It's so many different people. She said it depends on who was given the care. Now they're able to get away with this abuse even more now because of agency. Your loved one cannot pinpoint a name, or because we are not, at a lot of facilities, you're not even made to wear your name tag. You're not made to wear your name tag. Okay? In some facilities. And so your family member can be getting care from a person that they don't know their name. And especially if they're wearing a mask, they can't identify them. Come on. Let's move forward.
Today, these families are meeting for the first time since the deaths and alleged abuse of their parents.
When the social worker rang me the next morning from the hospital, she said, if you brought him in that condition,
you'd be charged.
I would have been charged with neglect or abuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely charged.
It's dangerous, that's hurting people.
I don't know how you feel about it, but I've been seeking a lawyer who might represent us in a class action.
They don't understand how this could have happened just as the Aged Care Royal Commission is about to report after a 2-year investigation.
I think our government has a responsibility to really act on this and act on it fast.
is happening everywhere. Even if you pay $1 million, you still can't get good care for the elderly.
All right, Leslie. So we have finished that video. It was very, very disturbing. And it just makes you really want to just do something about it, you know. Even though that was in Australia, still those same things happen here in the States. Yes, they do. And so are you a CNA who is seeing these things and you're just afraid to say something? You are mandated to report this, okay? You're mandated to report it. You don't have to be identified. You don't. You need to tell. You need to tell, okay? Because if it was your family member or you would want someone to tell, to stop it, right? And so then for you, the healthcare worker, okay, you don't want to reap what you're sowing. You don't. You don't want none of that. You don't want to be treated like that. Okay. I had to ask a lady in this previous job that was just that, because it's a lady there who, you know, screams and she's really like traumatized from something. I'm thinking it's like something that was done to her. Okay. Something that was done to her. So when you go to undress her and stuff like that, she just does not like it, right? She tries to fight you. And so the woman who trained me in this, she lifted this. Okay, so mind you, this lady is about 102 years old, super small. She's like 80 pounds, okay, super small lady. And so she lifts this lady's legs up above her head, 102 years old. And I told her, you would never ever do that in front of me again. Ever. You need to treat her like a human being. I said, can you put your legs up above your head like that? I don't think that you can. Okay? So what makes you think a person, an elderly person, just waking up, okay, would want their feet over their head like that, with you wiping their butt like a baby? I just went off. I lost it. So I didn't lose all of it, but I had to correct it, okay? Because you're not just going to do that in front of me. That's another thing that these seasoned, okay, CNAs do. They show a brand new CNA all their bogus practices. And they do it as like a showboating way. You know, say you have a combative resident, you know, who is just irate and just refuses everything all the time and just whatever, you know, they will go and manhandle this resident and say, this is how you need to do it. Nursing homes, if you are administrator for a nursing home, if you are a DON at a nursing home and you're running into this video, you need to watch who you have trained your people. I don't care if they've been there 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years. Have you ever heard of burnout? Have you ever heard of complacency? Have you ever heard way too familiar? Have you ever heard lackadaisy? That's all what these old CNAs be given. Have you ever heard of shortcuts that's not beneficial? Okay? all these type of things. Have you ever heard disrespectful? Talking to residents any old type of way. And so you need to watch who you have trained. Good, fresh, quality CNAs. Okay? Because you can run into the right one who will take out her little young phone, okay? Because, you know what I'm saying? And she's going to record and get on footage what your so-called veteran CNA is doing. And she's going to put it on the internet. And she's going to get away with it. And this is going to be the end of you. You know? Do the right thing. Do the right thing. It's disturbing to see people who are supposed to be carers, care providers, not provide care. How you going to provide care not caring? You cannot provide care not caring. You can't. You just providing careless care, which is not even a thing. You cannot provide careless care because you would. But anyway, so y'all, I will be talking to y'all later. We will do another one of these videos for sure. It's needed. I am educated in it as far as the CNA side of it and my experiences and all of those type of things. Share this with a CNA friend. Share this with a medical worker who you know. These are old videos that we were just reviewing, but the treatment is not old. The treatment has been happening even before that and is still happening now. Okay. And so it needs to be fixed. It needs to be nipped in the bud. Just imagine. I don't know where this whole industry is going, but it's going to go somewhere. It's going to take a shift for sure. I mean, we have all these young CNAs coming in, you know, and that demographic is so wide. Okay. It's so wide. Kids in my yard playing football. Let me go make sure that they're okay. Okay, y'all. So I'm back. They're not in my yard. They're just loud across the way, one of my neighbors. Yes. I will be speaking to y'all soon. We will do another one of these videos. And like I said, share this video with someone, like the video, subscribe to my channel because we on a roll. We got some stuff for you, okay? And then this is just one of the things that I'll be uploading on my channel. Okay, I'll be seeing y'all later. Bless this. Toodles.